Hi, I'm Lauren Class Schneider.
And I'm Michael Riedel of the New York Post.
And we're at Sardi's for BroadwayStars.com. Michael's going to introduce himself.
Yes, I am also the co-host of Theater Talk on Channel 13, WNET, a show that is syndicated in every corner of this country, on every PBS station. I will also be playing myself on the upcoming NBC TV series Smash, written by Teresa Rebeck and produced by Steven Spielberg. You can also catch me on Imus in the Morning.
You majored in history at Columbia.
I did. I studied classics and 20th century American history, and I wrote my thesis at Columbia on Franklin Roosevelt's fight with the American Liberty League, which was this organization of plutocrats who thought that Roosevelt was turning the country into a bunch of communists. So they sort of banded together and they tried to fight him, and he brilliantly, the way Obama sadly can't do, dismissed all these rich people with just the flick of his hand and made mockery of them and completely destroyed them.
So with a flick of his hand, how do you transition from that education to your current profession?
I liked the theater growing up. I would go to plays here and there in Rochester, New York, where I grew up, but I was never a real theater fan. I didn't live it, breathe it, as the way many people who are in the business do. But in school, at college, the most interesting people were these crazy lunatics who were doing plays. And the most boring people were these people who wanted to go to law school. And I was in that camp of the boring people who was going to go to law school. And then one day I met a couple of these kids in the theater department, and they were so much fun I began spending my time with them. But I was hanging out with these people, and one day, this is really how it all happened, I was at a party at Columbia, and this guy was there and he said, I've taken the job as the editor of Theater Week, which was a magazine that's long since dead, but a lively magazine back in its day. And he said, I need someone to be the managing editor. Now, I knew nothing about journalism and very little about the theater, which is still apparent to people who read my column, I think. But I thought, well, this sounds like fun, and I thought I would do the job for the summer and then go on to law school, and it wound up being a 20-year career.
Well, a 20-year career and probably not done yet?
Well, it's interesting, though. I am the last, I have to say, of the Broadway newspaper columnists. I'm the end of that era. There was a time in this town when there were, 10 newspapers, and every newspaper had a Broadway column. Walter Winchell's was a Broadway column. Ed Sullivan had a Broadway column. Dorothy Kilgallen's column was called The Voice of Broadway. The New York Times had a column. Sam Zolotow, the famous columnist. Every newspaper had a Broadway column. That's how important Broadway was to the life of the city. And there are no more Broadway columns in newspapers but mine. The Times no longer has a column. The Daily News doesn't have a column. Newsday doesn't have a column. I am the last. So stuff me and stick me in the Museum of Natural History. Because after me, it's the end of the line. It's over.
We'll put Michael in the museum. In the meantime, he is the most popular clicked-through article of the day columnist at Broadway Stars. I'm
Thanks,
Lauren
Mom,
Class
Dad.
Schneider. Michael's a little challenge. We are with Class Notes for BroadwayStars.com. Thank you.